God is the giver of life. He's given each and every one of us a ration of life, a portion of life. We have an allotted amount of time to live. So we have this gift from God, which is called life. And He calls us to have more life. And life is in the Son of God, Jesus Christ. It's like He gives us this time and calls us to come to Him and have more life. But instead of coming to God to have more life, we take the small ration of life that God has given us and we run off and do all these different things with. Some people take their life and waste it on pleasures, like quickly heaping pleasures upon themselves as quickly as possible, trying to gain as much pleasure as they can within their ration of life, and they fill their ration up with as much pleasure as possible, and they show it to everyone. Like, look what I did with my life. Look at all the pleasure I got. I'm winning. I'm winning. Because they have all of this stuff that they put inside their small ration of life. The small ration of life. They took that ration that God has given them and offered to give them much more, but they took the small ration that God has given them and they start filling up that ration with as much immediate pleasure as possible. God has called us to come to Him that He would give us more life. He called us to come to Him through His Son, Jesus Christ, that we would have more life and have it abundantly. But others take this ration of life that God has given them. God gives them a ration of life. And instead of going to God, they take their ration of life and they say, I know what I'll do. I'll take my life and I'll give it to other people. So they take their life and they serve humanity, other people, with their life. And they're thinking like, yeah, God is watching. You see me, right, God, what I'm doing with this life? I'm giving it to other people. But God has not called us to take our lives and distribute it to other people. God has called us to take our lives and bring it to Him. That He would give us direction. That He would continually give us more life to fulfill His purposes. He gave the life to us to fulfill His purposes, which is right. It's like I have money. It's my money. I give it to you to go buy something for me. I don't just give you money and then you go do what you want with it. If you do, I'm not going to be giving you money because it's my money and I have purposes. I'm not this purposeless being. I move and behave with purpose. I have reasons for why I do things. So it's not like I'm just like this donator that just, I just give it and hey, do what you want with it, you know? Just don't kill anybody. I don't care what you do. Just don't hurt anybody. No, I have purpose. I'm not just this purposeless being who doesn't know what I'm doing. I have reasons for doing things. God has reasons as to why He bestows life, and He has purpose, and He desires things, and He will get what He wants. But He gives you life that you would turn to Him and ask Him what He wants you to do, rather than you making up in your own mind what you want to do and using Him to help you fulfill your purposes, when your fullest purpose is found within Him. What I'm getting at is these people who serve humanity with their life. It's a beautiful thing to serve humanity if that's what God has called you to do. It's like if I had a business or a company and I hire you as a x-ray technician to go out and take x-rays of people, and I give you a company car and a company credit card and say, go take x-rays of these specific people who need x-rays. And instead of doing that, You take the company car and the company credit card and you buy groceries with the credit card and you fill the company vehicle up with groceries and you start giving them to homeless people. When you come back at the end of the day and I say, so what did you do with the card and the car that I gave you? You say, oh, I bought groceries with the card and I gave them to homeless people. Aren't you so happy? I say, no, I'm not happy. You're disobedient. You don't listen. I didn't tell you to go out and buy groceries give me that card back and give me the keys to the car. I'm gonna give these keys and this card to somebody who knows how to listen to their supervisor. You just act like you have no supervisor. What do you think you are? The boss? You think you're the boss? Did I tell you that you were the boss? Did anybody tell this guy that he was the boss and he could do what he wanted to do with my card and my company vehicle? You're fired. This is how humanitarian is behaving. When they don't consult with God, they just take his company car and his company card and go do what they think is right. Before you move off and sacrifice your life to help people, which is a beautiful thing. Like what the person did with the card and the car was great. But God will designate who he wants to do what. So you need to consult with him before you go off and do those different things with the life that he has given you. So first and foremost is loyalty to God, honor to God, respect to God first. You do God justice before you go off and do humanity justice. We weren't put here to serve people. You weren't put here for that. You were put here for God. He made you for himself. So it's just to try to put things in perspective. I'm not against helping homelessness. I'm for that. But I am against disobedient people thinking that they're just gonna go off and serve other people without consulting God with what he has planned. God has a plan, and God has a means on how he plans on doing it. And he sent his son that we should believe on the name of Jesus Christ and come to God through Christ and allow him to direct our steps and to lead us into whatever area of life he has called us to be in. We don't designate our own selves. We don't boss our own lives. We take our lives and offer them as a sacrifice to God and allow him to give us direction into where we should go and how we should distribute our time. But we first come to God in prayer. You pray, you talk to God and allow him to guide you and put things on your heart. But you don't just go out and serve other people and then think that God is obligated to honor what you did with your life, with the life that he gave you. So the person in the story who went off with the card in the car, they don't show up back to the office and become upset with the supervisor because he fired them. The supervisor did the right thing. That person was not a good employee. They don't listen. Are you listening to God? Are you following God? Or are you just kind of like ignoring what God has to say, putting words in his mouth, or twisting his words by saying, well, God is love. He would want me to love, so I'm loving people. So you're just kind of not really consulting with him. You're just taking a few things out of context and just running with it in order to fulfill what you want to do with your life. Because you're thinking, hey, this is my life. You're kind of like the employee who thinks it's his company car. That car is borrowed, bruh. Your body is borrowed and you will give it up. Your life is borrowed and you will give it up. If you want more of that life, find out what he wants you to do and let him give you purpose and give you more life for being a good student, a good servant, a good creation. You are created. You were given life. You were created and life was put into you. You were not before. You did not exist before and then God consulted with you. You were created in the womb of your mother and life was placed there within you, within that body which became you. Turn to your Creator and thank Him and consult with Him as to what He would have you do.